no, I can't give you the maths behind this because I don't study it because I'm a lazy ass motherfucker. I'm sorry to be silly, but internally you don't feel inertia. So it's like sitting in an armchair and suddenly you're going right to 200 miles an hour, up vertically 400 miles an hour. You don't feel a damn thing. The walls can be transparent, and you can look into stuff about metamaterials. And yeah, I personally I believe the Tic Tacs are American. But I'm not as wised up as all of you guys on individual case studies and histories.
I don't think anybody's in the Tic Tacs, just like the TR3Bs. I think they're empty.
There was a dude on Reddit who, sorry, too, was talking about he was driving through the countryside in the Midwest somewhere, turned a corner, and saw a TR3B like right there, about 100 yards off the ground. And he said he saw humans in like green jumpers, like jumpsuits, inside, just pushing buttons on on like
Leprechauns.
some
Happy
console.
St.
Yeah,
Pat's Day.
yeah, they were probably leprechauns actually.
He saw them inside.
Yeah, he said they were
That's weird.
humans.
Cause
Yeah.
like the angle I had, I would have had to been really far away to get a look like in a window or something. I just saw like the bottom side of it. Like thinking about like how they would see a window. That's maybe they were like on a hill or something. I don't know.
Um, Go ahead, Tupa, and then I'm going to read the Lonnie Zamora case.
Sick. The Alcubierre drive is a speculative warp drive idea, according to which a spacecraft could achieve apparent faster than light travel by contracting space in front of it and expanding space behind it. That could be really dope. I think if I had to shoot a guess out, if I just had to say something about the Tic Tac, the TR3Bs, even the saucers, I would say that these are machines with uh, some type. They're built in such a way that they allow someone's consciousness to take over it, and that like the way it moves isn't due to a propulsion system. It might be due to, in my opinion, I would look into this. It might be due to the fact that if your consciousness is driving something like that, if there's a linkage there, it could use the same principles as your consciousness, which is probably a two-dimensional or non-physical dimensional way of moving. And you just think about something and it gets there. You think about a place and it gets there. The observer effect might be an interesting aspect of this, but like they just move so differently. There's no visible signs of propulsion, and there is this talk, like Scream said, like they're not even manned. Right. I know that we've seen like the Zamora case, right? There's a tic tac looking object, and then he sees little beings next to it. And I'm not saying that, that's not valid. That's probably real. That probably happens. These things might be driven physically. But the way that they were described by Fravor, the tic tac, the way that I hear some of the descriptions, I just wonder. I've heard that they're living, that they have some type of skin or something, or plasma sheath around them that looks like it's alive almost. And what the hell looks like it's alive that's not alive? What kind of machine, you know what I mean, would give off that vibe? And how can you control these craft without controls inside of them? It has to be a consciousness kind of thing. And their size, their shape, to me, it could just be government experimenting with this type of technology that they could have found. But yeah, the idea that they're not manned, I think, is smart, especially when you consider how they move, how erratic they are. For me, it's almost like aim and shoot, right? Like, oh, I looked over there, now I'm over there, and that could be a whole different type of meditative skill. You know what I mean? Some type of concentration you have to really work with, where pilots aren't just sitting down and just able to fly it like it's a drone, where they actually have to like really be in tune there, and there maybe accidents are prone to happen just by having a bad thought or having, you know what I mean, a fear response maybe, right? Like could happen. I don't know, I'm just throwing out ideas.
I shared
Tupi,
a video in the nest. It's John Burroughs saying exactly what you're saying, Tupa. He says it's consciousness with AI, and some of it's fully like loaded consciousness, and the crafts are their own entity. Um, oh damn it! There was something else that went with that I was going to tell you, and I definitely forgot it. My bad.
Tupa, what you're saying, and you're saying about conscious craft and minding mind and consciousness, absolutely real. If you think someone can remote view, or astral travel, then if you can link that with a craft, then you have point to point teleportation. If somebody can see, there was once at Farnborough Airfield. This is about 20 years ago. There was a technology used in the helmet that read brainwave frequencies, and they stole the prototype. But basically what it did, it monitored brainwave frequencies, and when we get a threat response, most of us are precognitive for about 1 or 2 seconds, but aren't really aware of it. And this helmet had little electrocardiogram, whatever those sensors are around the head, and it would pick up those frequencies and be a way to prime the missile system of the plane. I just want to go back to I also believe that Tic Tacs can be remote controlled, and what you're saying about conscious vehicles is definitely real. I just want to assert the point that when you have advanced physics, what we're looking at those things, if they're man-made or if they're American black ones, we think in terms of aerodynamics. They do not use aerodynamics. You're sitting in a time-space bubble in that craft, and so anything an external observer sees is not the same as what the internal observer sees. So most of you are aware of like relativity and the relationship between time and velocity, and so time contraction and slowing down. Well, this is the same technology, but in terms of gravity. And what I was trying to explain is the TR3B, for instance, because the handling of electromagnetism is so great, that's why they can appear massive or small, or project multiple radar images, or disappear, because you're literally playing with space time, and this is within the grasp of our military. Probably the NATO countries, the Allied, whatever you call them, but it's black. And the TR3B, I honestly believe that's been used as some way of, because everyone has seen these damn things and they're not hiding it really since the 80s, since the Belgian wave in 1989. But I just want to assert to you that I'm not disclaiming anything that you guys have been saying, but when you get advanced physics, the way you move is completely different. I mean, in spirituality, we remember Jesus walked on water, the Buddha walked in the sky. Well, the technology, when you get advanced, can do miraculous stuff. It just zip left and right, up and down, and you don't feel a damn thing. It's like driving Miss Daisy, I promise you. This is my opinion from what I've learned.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that, and I remembered what I was going to say. That clip, y'all should watch it. It's awesome. Basically, John Burroughs says consciousness is the new weapon. He explains the part about the consciousness and the AI and stuff. And that blew my mind. And what you're talking about, like with the electricity and all that stuff, like the military. I mean, this came from Doty, so take it how you will. But he basically confirmed that that there are these devices that they can essentially flip on, and it can put people in like a dreamlike state, or a meditative state, and they wouldn't know that people were even around or whatever. They can be manipulated like that. But that leads me to a theory with the TR3Bs, right? Like if they are conscious controlled or whatever, and like y'all are saying how they mess up, or like why are people seeing them everywhere? If they're conscious controlled, maybe when people are in a meditative state or being creative, or doing whatever it is, that we're actually like maybe like messing with the control of them for a second, and that's why they end up towards the people until they realize it, and then that the regular person gets control or whatever. I can't cross that off the list either, because I don't know how that technology works.
Oh, bro, what if like Travis Walton, right? He walks up to this thing. It shocks him. We don't know the motives of the pilots of that craft. We only know the stories that we were told, right? So that happened, right? According to the case. Now, what if when you interact with a craft that is consciously controlled, essentially embodying the soul or the consciousness of another living creature, when you engage with it, you're doing some type of shared dream. You're actually in their consciousness, which is why it's so metaphorical, so symbolic, so weird, and why time isn't really there. It's almost like you're sharing a dream. There, when you're near the craft or in it, even you're not in it. You're inside of their mind. That might be too far out there. I just hit the blunt. So these are blunt thoughts from here on out. Disclaimer.
Going back to the TR3B, if you look at in Hindu religious texts, there's a lot of non-religious texts, and there are books on what's called the Vimana, and the Vimana in the Indus Valley about 2,500 years ago, they had a lot of flying vehicles, and you can get. I'll post it under this space. A picture of the book. You can get an English translation of an operational manual of how to fly and navigate these ancient anti-gravity vehicles. And this is thousands of years ago. And they're called the Vimana. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And the TR3B